Subject-verb agreements. Let us first identify the subject in the sentences. The subject is who or what performs the action of the verb. The verb is the word that expresses what the action is. Example: people of Marikina need help. The subject is people. And the verb in the sentence is need. Let us try to identify the subject in this sentence. The girls collect the garbage. The subject is girls. The farmers harvest their crops. What is the subject? The answer is farmers. The teacher spent her days more in school. The subject is teachers. The child cries so loud. The subject is child. Whales be mammals. The subject in the sentence is whales. Now that we have already know the subject in the sentence, let us now identify the number of the subject. If there is only one subject, the number is singular. And if there is two or more subjects, the number is plural. Example: girl, that is singular. Girls, the number is plural. Here are the list of some singular and plural subjects. Read them very carefully. Bird, birds. Fork, forks. Broom, brooms. Game, games. Camel, camels. Lamb, lambs. Desk, desks. Nest, nest. Doll, dolls. Pen, pens. Egg, eggs. Photo, photos. Flower, flowers. Shirt, shirts. Now, let us identify the number of the subject. You may get a pen and paper for answering. If you want to have time to think for the answer, you may pause the video and play it if you are ready to get the answer. The girls collect the garbage. Now try to identify the number of the subject. Our subject is girls. You may write your answer on the paper. Take your time. Now let us find out the answer. The number of the subject girls is correct, plural. Now let's try this one. The farmers harvest their crops. Our subject is farmers. What is the number of the subject? The answer is plural. Did you get it correct? Next sentence. The teacher spent her days more in school. Our subject is teacher. Now try to identify the number of the subject. The answer is singular. The child cries so loud. Our subject is child. Now try to identify the number of the subject. The answer is correct, singular. Next we have whales, bee, mammals. Our subject is whales. Are you ready to know the answer? Correct, that is plural. Now that we have already know the subject and the number of the subject in the sentences, let us now identify the appropriate verb to be used. We have to remember the subject-verb agreement rules. A verb should agree with its subject in number. Singular subjects take singular verbs, action verbs ending in s, and singular state of being verbs. Plural subjects take plural verbs, action verbs that do not end in s, and plural state of being verbs. When we say state of being verbs or be verbs, here are the list of singular to be used. Is, was, has, am. For plural, we have are, were, have, are. Are you ready? For singular verbs end with y, we have to follow certain rules. Change y to I, then add es. Example, she carried her bag. She carries her bag. Change y to I, then add es because our subject is singular. Let us have some example. Candy likes flowers. What have you noticed with the verb likes? Correct, it ends with s because our subject is singular. The flowers smell good. What have you noticed with the verb smell? Correct, it doesn't end with s because the subject flowers is plural. Mimi sings well. Our subject Mimi singular. So our word sings, which is the verb, ends with s. Mimi is good at singing. Mimi is singular. The verb of being to be used is. Now let us try some activity. Get a pen and a paper to answer the following activity. Are you ready? Example. Fireman save lives. Identify the subject in the sentence. The subject is fireman. How about the number of the subject? Fireman is singular. Now let us have the verb to be used in the sentence. Fireman is the subject. The number is singular. And the correct verb to be used is saves with s. Are you ready for the next activity? Now let us identify what is the appropriate verb to be used in the sentences. Remember that you have to identify first the subject in the sentence, followed by its number, singular or plural, before you identify what is the appropriate verb to be used in the sentence. Are you ready? Get a pen and paper now. Now let us check your answer. The girls collect the garbage. Our subject is girls, which is plural. Therefore, our answer is collect. The farmers harvest their crops. Subject, the farmers, which is plural. The correct answer is harvest. The teacher spent her days more in school. Our subject is the teacher, which is singular in number. So the correct answer is spends. The child cries so loud. The subject, the child, which is singular. Therefore, our answer is cries. Whales be mammals. Our subject is whales. Change the word be to verbs of being. The answer is are. Before we end our session, let us have the reminder. Kindly remember, steps in writing sentences in present tense. First, identify the subject. Next, identify the number of the subject if it is singular or plural. And finally, think of the appropriate verb to be used based on the subject and its number. Good luck, everyone!